Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's been a few weeks. I hope you're all having a great new year. Now, something completely different, going back to my roots with a bit of clay work, why not? So I'm going to use a recycled jar and I'm just picking a base for the bottom of the jar, and I think the round one is going to look so much better. So I'm going to use my lava gun and glue that on to the base, and this does work really well. I've done it before. People say, oh, hot glue doesn't last. It does. It's pretty good, especially this industrial stuff that I use. So I'm going to use air dry clay here to make the body of the house, and I need to roll it out and I check it against the size of the jar because I'm going to wrap the jar in the clay. I have PVA'd the jar before I put the clay on, just so the clay sticks, and it works great. It really does work, so I recommend doing that. And I squidge it all down, squidge, favourite word, squidge it all down and cut the excess off. And I'm just gonna smooth it on and fill the gap in at the bottom. What I do then is I wet my fingers in water and I just smooth down the clay as much as I can, really, getting any air bubbles out and just making sure it's flat against the jar. And then it's nice and smooth for the detail to go on. And I'm using a clay tool here and I'm marking out some little windows, and my favourite bit's coming up. This is really squidge in a minute. I'm just smoothing it out as I go as well. Look how squidge that is. Squidge, squidge, squidge. It's just like the ball tool on the end of it, and I just squidge it in. Oh, it's lovely. Now, you've got to make sure you clear the glass because I am going to put lights inside this. And I'm going for a candle effect inside, but you can use fairy lights depending on how bright you want it. And I'm just putting up some window sills, and I will put, is it the lintel above the window? I think it's a lintel. I'll put those in as well. I do recommend keeping your clay moist as you go along, just damping it down with water. Spray gun would be better, but I couldn't be bothered finding mine, so I just wet my hands and put that over it, simply because the house was quite warm. I've got the heating on, so the clay is drying really quickly. So I really don't want it to start cracking, and it does start cracking when I'm drawing on it with the tool, so hence keeping it damp, that stops it happening. And more detail there going on. It's so nice to do something different, because I think you can get bored doing the same thing over and over. You just need a bit of a break. And I thought it was nice to do a bit of clay work. I do love recycling stuff and making it into something else. I do have an Etsy shop, and plug and I have done recycled art on there. I have got a few on there actually with other jars. I have done bottles in the past with clay on. They look so nice, and it's just something unique and different, and I found that kids really like them, just on a shelf, just to look at. I've made one for my kids before. I think they had mushroom houses. Yeah, they did. And I remember doing a, what was it? Crash Bandicoot model and things like that. If you check out my older videos, you see a lot of the clay work there, old pictures and things with clay. So it was really nice to do a little bit of clay work again. Here I thought, right, I need to break up this area with a little bit of detail. So I thought, what can I do? Here we go, cracked plasterwork. So here is some of the brickwork showing through. I just love doing little bits of details like this. It's really fun to do and it really does add interest to your model. So I'm just scoring into the clay here. You have to smooth it as you go along, or dampen it as you go along, or whatever you need. You can kind of feel the clay. If it's workable, great. If it's not, it's starting to slightly crack a bit, get a bit of water on there, and it keeps the clay moving. So I'm just making out the brick detail here and some cracks. And the little door needed a little number plate, and I went for number 11, just a random number. Just completely doesn't mean anything, nothing to do with my lottery numbers at all. No, it really isn't. So number 11, and make it just out of a little square of clay, stick that on with some PVA, and then I make another little character from the side of the jar, which is a little cat out of clay, and he looks quite cute when he's painted up. It's a boy, I've decided. Yeah, I've not named him. Maybe you can name him. So yeah, doing the little details on him, and yeah, why not? I now need to make a little roof for the top of this jar. Now, this is the first draft and it will be explained later. I make a roof to attach to the jar lid, and I'm using cardboard, quite stiff card, for the base of the, the whole structure of the roof. And I coat the roof in little squares of card. Now, I did film that. I don't know where that footage has gone, but you will see when you see the finished roof, you'll see what I mean. It's just little bits of card stuck along, and works great as little roof tiles. And I'm just here making just the shape of it, hot glue again and card. And now I am going to paint it. This took a couple of days to dry. Do make sure it's really dry before you paint, completely dry, or else you're just going to end up with a mess on your hands. So painting on just a nice colour palette, I think. I had something in mind before it started. I thought, yeah, I'll go for like yellowy kind of frames, and I pick a nice colour for the background in a bit, which you will see. So with that painted for now, I start on the roof. Now, I must warn you, disaster does strike, and I will tell you about that in part 2 because it ended up being quite a long video. So I've had to break it up into 2 parts. So please fast forward the bits you don't like. You know, I've tried to speed up the boring bits, but if you find other bits really boring, skip through it. But this is the first roof. I'll just say that for now. And that's it for this part. Now, oh, disaster. And I will tell you all about it in part 2. I'll keep you hanging on a cliff edge. I'll see you next time. Bye now.